In the year 1941, Mukilteo was a sleepy fishing town. Crown lumber was gone. The powder mill was gone. It looked like this. Then on December 7th, 1941, a day that shall live in infamy, Pearl Harbor was attacked. That was a Sunday. The following morning, Otto Zoller called a meeting of the Mukilteo Improvement Club to organize the civilian war effort. An officer from Payne Field spoke to the volunteers to bring together the Mukilteo Air Raid Precaution Zone. The Army Air Corps was looking for civilian volunteers to monitor aircraft that might be part of an attack. Loyal Americans. Help defend your country. 2 wooden towers were constructed. They looked like this. One was built that month, January, on 5th Street, where present Byers Park is. Another was up a steep hill above Mukilteo. This is the one that most people remember. The volunteers were trained to recognize aircraft, both US and Japanese. For ladies, the aircraft were compared to fish, like the Commando, the Ventura, which looked like a big fat whale, and the Seagull, which looked like a seagull. But for the guys, it was a little different. The guys were trained to recognize the Mitsubishi Zero as round-nosed Rosie, the American C-46 Commando as fat-waist Fanny, the American P-38 Lightning as box kite Betty, and the Japanese Aichi-99 as full flap Florence. You got to get their attention. The towers were staffed 24/7. Volunteers were issued a pair of binoculars and a snazzy armband. This is Mrs. Helen Lee. For a long time, this picture was unidentified. We didn't know who the woman was. But then at an MHS meeting, Tootie Zoller Richter cried out, "That's Helen Lee." And Tootie should know because she was Otto Zoller's niece. The reports were sent by phone if a plane was spotted to the sheriff's office in Everett. At the same time, the person reporting filled out a flash message form. Where did you see these planes? How many? Where are they? How were they flying? What direction were they going? The control center then forwarded the report to Seattle, which monitored the aircraft from Seattle north. If there were power outages, etc., during the time, it was important for the message to get through by phone. There were attempts by the Japanese to attack on the US Pacific coast, but not in the form of airplanes. Submarines were spotted off Santa Barbara. And in Puget Sound, they snuck in under the ferries, like the Kalakala. And there was found after the war in Japan footage that they had taken of the Puget Sound military installations. Fugo balloons were spotted in the US Northwest. These were incendiary balloons that were designed to set fire to the forests of the Pacific Northwest. Unfortunately, one of those was landed on a beach in Oregon, and a couple of kids had it blow up on them before their parents could stop them. When the war was progressing about 1944, it was clear that the Japanese were not going to attack the US Pacific coast. The Aircraft Warning Service thanked the volunteers and disbanded the program. A letter of commendation from Colonel Stuart W. Toll of the Air Corps was addressed to the members of the Aircraft Warning Service, thanking them. I want to thank each of you for all you have done. Your country, the Army, Air Forces, and your fellow Americans owe a debt of gratitude to the members of the Aircraft Warning Service. This is a list of those who participated from Mukilteo in the 4th Fighter Command. The first part of the list is men, the second part is women, with the supervisors in bold. These are typically retired people. During that time, the young men were either in the war or working in the Boeing installations in Seattle. And likewise, the younger women were working as Rosie the Riveter down in the Boeing plant in Seattle. So what were left were grandmas and retired people. At the end of the war, Mukilteo was still a sleepy village, but it had come of age. 2 years later, it was incorporated as a city.